Dwayne The Rock Johnson once said, somebody got a haircut. But in all seriousness, folks, so, as you can see now, my webcam actually works well. I can upload straight to YouTube instead of doing Google Hangout, which is nice. But nonetheless, not about this video, this video's not talking about making a video, it's not talking about my haircut, not talking about anything like that. It's talking about Monday Night Raw. And overall, I thought the next episode of Monday Night Raw was decent. I thought it was okay. It was an okay go home show. It felt like some things were rushed to the end. I'll get to that a little later. But he kicked off the night with Stephanie McMahon, basically, you know, punishing Vickie Guerrero for allowing Roman Reigns in the Battle Royal last week in order for him to go on to basically the ladder match, the World Heavyweight Championship ladder match. And Stephanie said she has two options. Giving her two options: one, she could fire Vickie, or two, she could give Vickie her SmackDown General Manager job, which basically means nothing, if she beats the Queen in a match tonight. And this was like I think the first, at least that I've noticed, and maybe only time Vickie Guerrero got. I think this was the first time Vickie first got cheered when she called AJ Lee a bitch, which was hilarious. But that's the only time I could think of that she got cheered. But in this segment, even though people were like, "Oh, this segment was boring," Vickie got cheered up to wazoo. Like she wasn't getting heat. She was over with the crowd in this segment, and I was like, okay, well, yeah. And it's kind of, and I know she brought into Eddie, saying the Guerrero name, and that if anything that Eddie ever taught her, it was lie, cheat, and steal, and the crowd ate that up, and it was kind of cool. Now, I know some people were kind of against moving on. Luke Harper and Eric Rowan, they got new theme songs. What the hell? It's. I mean, let's face it. Them in general didn't even have a theme song. Before it was just and then they just in the middle of the ring. Bray Wyatt was the only one that had and it's kind of catchy. Yeah, it's something I think we'll have to excuse me, 12 o'clock in the morning, get used to, but nonetheless, it wasn't too bad. I thought it was okay. But anyways, so the matches: Jimmy Uso versus Luke Harper. Harper won that. Jay Uso versus Eric Rowan. Jay Uso won. So it was kind of like, even though they kind of had individual matches with no breaks, it obviously kind of makes sense. They both even the odds. It makes you think, okay, who will win at Money in the Bank, the tag team title match? And I think the tag team title match was pretty good. I said it in my Google Hangout, my live stream, that it could go either way, and I'm still with it. The Usos could retain. I could see that happening just so the Ascension can go up and beat the holy hell out of them. Or, WWE's like, okay, we'll keep the Ascension down there for a few more months because they got no tag teams over down there in the United States. And, we'll roll the dice with Harper and Rowan to see how long that lasts. But so then you have, this video package between, Lana and Rusev, and of course they're in Washington, D.C., the nation's capital, and, talking about promo how the United States is weaker than Russia, how it's pathetic, and yada, and Lana, oh my god, I said this before, the only reason why anyone gives a rat's ass about Rusev is because of Lana. But anyways, speaking of divas, I got Alicia Fox versus Naomi, and it's kind of cool that they're doing a Naomi versus Paige feud. Not a feud, but doing a match at Money in the Bank. And if WWE gives that enough time, that should be a pretty good match. And as much as I'm a Paige fan, I wouldn't mind Naomi winning it because I truly think she does deserve, Divas title at least maybe once. She's worked hard in the ring. She does well. She's over with the crowd. I just hope that if Naomi does win it, she doesn't turn heel because it's clearly obvious the crowd is over with her, and they could give a rat's ass about that annoying bitch in Cameron because oh my god, I had to mute this bitch on commentary, and I like hearing Paige talk. Paige got that cute, British accent, whatever, and then Cameron's got that, oh, you gotta give me a chance. Oh, you're just too scared. Like, shut the fuck up. bitch. No one cares about you. Alright, go, like, can Vince just throw you on a wall and then, like, screw you for the rest of your life? Because, like, no one cares about you. But, anywho, and by the way, yes, I saw the picture of Paige got up and Jerry the King Lawler's like, look, and it's just so freaking creepy. Like, Jerry, you can be her grandfather. Like, she's 21 years old. You're sick as hell. It's just creepy and weird. But anyways, so we move on to Titus O'Neil versus Bo Dallas. And I feel like every single week I'm repeating myself with this whole Bo Dallas thing. It's just, I like his gimmick. I don't like his in-ring ability. Like him in the ring, I'm just bored to death. But with his gimmick of I believe in you, it's that part entertains me. So it kind of even out, kind of like bittersweet. You know, when I see him in the ring, I'm like, ugh. But even like before, when he cuts a promo and afterwards, I'm like, okay, now he has my attention. So, but that's just me. And then you move on to the whole God Doctor announcing who's in the Money in the Bank, the real Money in the Bank match. Who gets the contract? The following is Kofi Kingston. You need to see him do the high spot boom boom boom. Everyone's favorite IWC guy, who's not Daniel Bryan or Seth Rollins or anybody in the Shield, are talking about Dolph Ziggler. We also got the real American Jack Swagger. I got some bad news, because bad news Barrett's in it. Who could forget about Rob Van Dam? So, and of course Seth Rollins is in it. And then, you know, I'm thinking, alright, you still got like one more spot. Where's Dean out of all this? And then later on, you had RVD versus Seth Rollins, which was a pretty good match. Seth Rollins was by disqualification due to Dean Ambrose coming in and being the holy hell of him. Eventually leading to a backstage segment where, you know, Seth Rollins practically begging him and his X-Men attire, begging God to give him Ambrose, put Ambrose in the Money in the Bank match. And God's like, you get the deal, but if this blows up in your face, you got no one to blame but yourself. And then Seth Rollins is like, I got this. Like he sounds so tense there. Like shit. Funny how this guy came from ROH. By the way, best in the world. That was actually a pretty good pay-per-view. So, I'm not even joking. You guys know me. I hate ROH and hate the Indies. That's just me. But they put a pretty good show. It gets my attention. But anyways, moving on. So then we got the Intercontinental title match between Dolph Ziggler versus Wade Barrett. Bad news. Kind of a random Intercontinental title match. But hey, you know, Bad News Barrett's kind of been on somewhat of a little bit of a losing streak lately. So you kind of need to build him up a bit. You know, him and Ziggler seem like they always put on good matches together, both talented in the ring. Bad News Barrett retains, so you know it all comes down to wash, and you know it turns out good. And then you have this really weird match between Vickie Guerrero and the Queen. It's not even a match. It's like I don't even know what the hell I called it. It was like basically the way you lose a match is you get dumped in the pool of muck is what they called it. And you have Layla, the lovely Layla, who I hope to God is done with Fandango after the little SmackDown thing. Rosa Mendez, who finally got rid of that Dora the Explorer theme song, and Alicia Fox, who hamper tantrum craziness has gotten old within the last couple of weeks. But nonetheless, they were trying to help Stephanie in there, and then eventually they're trying to put in Vickie in there. Eventually, Vickie did fall in there. Stephanie kind of did try to do her whole father impression with the whole "you're fired." I mean, it was kind of cute, but it's like, okay, we've heard this several times. And she's trying to do the nana goodbye, and then the whole yes thing, like, why do you try to overuse this? So Vickie basically gets the last laugh, even though she gets fired. She throws Stephanie in the pool of muck, whatever you want to say it, and you know she does the whole Eddie taunt, which is kind of cool, and you know basically it's probably obviously Vickie's goodbye to the universe. And believe it or not, I actually was one of those people obviously who couldn't stand Vickie, but later on I actually enjoyed her character because it was kind of enjoyable. And think about it, this was just her character was just basically WWE, and of course they said later on that, you know, WWE kind of feeling bad for what happened to the old Eddie thing, obviously him passing away. Also sudden, well, that, him being on the roster and still being hot, meaning, his career and whatnot. So, yeah, think about it. From, a widow that basically, had no wrestling experience whatsoever in the wrestling business, to all of a sudden be one of the top, heel, mouthpieces. She did pretty good for herself. So, I think it's, kind of cool. If I'd be saying that, 5 years ago, if you told me how this should like Vickie Guerrero, I'd be like, ugh. And it's amazing what happens, right? So nonetheless, speaking of the whole Daniel Bryan thing, apparently Daniel Bryan's having a little segment on the pre-show of Money in the Bank, and it's probably just a whole injury update thing. So bring your wife back, for goddamn it, I miss Brave. So then we have Kofi Kingston versus Jack Swagger against the Hippie Bella. But anyway, Jack Swagger versus Kofi Kingston, and you know your career is down when freaking Jack Swagger beats you, aka Kofi Kingston. Yeah, not much to say. Big E versus Damien Sandow. This thing lasted like 20 seconds. I'm not even joking. Then Rusev comes in there. Rusev beats Big E. He crushes Big E. See, now I'm getting the whole Lana thing. It just makes me want to like, ugh. I guess they might have a match, like a last second match, even though we just saw it at, what was the last pay-per-view? Payback? Yeah. Okay, and this is the thing that pisses me off with WWE. And it's not like they've just recently done this. They've been doing this for a while. Why must WWE have a match on SmackDown just to have it on Raw and then vice versa? You literally have the same exact match. You have a full. Was it no? Last time was what 3-on-2 or 4? No, it was 4-on-3, right? Yeah, 4-on-3. 4-on-3 handicap match. Bray Wyatt, Cesaro, and Rio, and versus Bella and Roman Reigns. 4-on-3 handicap match, and it was just like, okay, the match itself wasn't too bad. I'm not gonna sit here, but the ending was just like, the ending kind of felt to me, kind of felt like what a Divas match usually is these days. At the ending, when you have like a bunch of Divas in one ring, everyone hits their finishers within the last 2 seconds of the match. That's basically what this was. Except for Cena hit it twice, and then. I'm sure the internet. I wasn't on Twitter when Raw happened, but I'm sure the internet went crazy when Cesaro hit the uppercut on Cena. They probably went nuts. But Sheamus pinned Cesaro with the bro kick. Kane, and this is the thing too. Kane apparently is now officially the Demon. I guess we dropped the whole Big Red Machine or Big Red Monster to the Demon Kane. Like I remember back like in the Attitude Era, there was like maybe like once or twice that good old JR used to call the Demon Red Monster Kane. But now they're just shoving it down your throat. The Demon, the Demon, the Demon. Like, and I've always been a fan of Kane, but when the best part of his career is by far over, he's no longer a threat anymore per se, and you're just. I mean, okay, yeah, he basically beats up Roman Reigns in the side, choke slams Kane, shows himself, yeah, getting until 12 o'clock in the morning, guys. Choke slams, Sheamus, poses, and then freaking Roman Reigns comes out of nowhere with a freaking spear, and then Randy Orton's all like on the stage with Triple H, and this was right after freaking God's like, Kane the Demon is the 8th person in the match for the world title. So you have 8 people in that match. I know this is not like the only time I've ever been. I don't think this is. Does it not really have 8 people? No, it doesn't have 8 before in Money in the Bank. But that just, with all those guys, all these participants at once, that just screams out cluster. Like, it really does. And don't get me wrong, I'm sure that match would be good. I'm sure Money in the Bank would be good. I mentioned on Twitter just, several months ago that, the match itself would probably be, the whole, not just the match, the whole pay-per-view in general, on paper, it doesn't look too bad. It actually looks pretty good, actually, in my opinion, my honest opinion. But it's just like, WWE just felt like, okay, obviously this go home show, you need to do what you need to do, but at the same time, it was just like shut down throats, But overall, not a bad show. I mean, you have Vickie coming out with Eddie Guerrero's music, which is kind of funny, and entertaining at the same time. Brought back good memories. And obviously you had your last minute build up, so it did what it needed to do. So overall, that's it for me. This video, yeah.